My name is Misha. I'm from Boston, Massachusetts. I did my undergrad at Carnegie Mellon in electrical computer engineering, and now I'm doing my master's, the IMB program. I'm studying for a semester in Kigali, Rwanda. CMU has a campus here. I trust that they're doing the right thing. I want to kind of like experience living in Africa for 4 months while still doing school. I'd already taken a lot of the classes that I wanted to take in the States, and then I heard about the opportunity to come here, and I'd be taking the same level of rigor classes. I wish it was easier. The classes are interesting, they're challenging, they're focused on something that they just don't teach in the Pittsburgh campus. It's like they're all tailored, all the case studies are for Africa, sub-Saharan Africa in particular, and kind of based on the area around us, which is Rwanda. Some of the guys at the Kigali campus here are probably one of the hardest grinders I've ever seen. So a lot of them don't go to the master's straight out of school. What happens here is that they do the master's after working for maybe up to like 8 years in industry. You see the same thing in Pittsburgh where like people are just extremely dedicated. They're focused on kind of like learning the material, understanding it, and just doing high quality work. I live in Kimurura, which is like a really nice area for kind of like bars, nightlife, especially in Kigali where like everyone goes out really late. So like sometimes like you have to like go out at like 2 a.m. and people are just starting to come in, and then it's obviously a late night. The cost of living here is really cheap. It doesn't cost that much. The moto takes like 25 cents to go somewhere. A lot of the times for things that are produced locally, such as like food products, it's relatively cheap. But then when you want something that's like imported, like some kind of brand of face wash or something, it's something that you should bring with you. I feel safer here than I do in Pittsburgh late at night. The first day that I came here, I got a cab from the airport, and this is like 12:30 at night, and just people were walking down the streets on both sides. People don't really feel unsafe at all. I'm doing research with Patrick McSherry, who's a visiting professor from Oxford, and he's a stud at data science. I'm doing research on taking a look at climate change in Kigali based on like rainfall. So there's a long and short rainy season, and it's really imperative for farmers to essentially time their planting cycle with the start of those seasons so they have the most kind of yield. And these dates have been changing and haven't been as predictable as they would have liked. So I'm kind of building out a model to help farmers predict on when they should actually plant their crops. It's one thing to kind of like build out a new app to connect people versus here you build something that is directly impacting millions of rural farmers or individuals. Quoting one of my professors, he said, the best innovations for Africa are going to be built by people who are living in Africa, developed specifically for Africa. Like it's not like you have to actually be here to really kind of like understand and like experience the culture of everything that's here. And for all like the ECU students that are in undergrad and like had never done a study abroad or nervous about it, it's without a doubt something that's going to be worthwhile even 3 months down in your career. And then another thing for kind of the ECU students is the tuition here is subsidized, and at least for me it ended up working out to be about 1/3 of the tuition that I would end up paying in the States. So on a financial basis it's also worth it without a doubt. CMU understands what is going to be important, not immediately, but 5 years down the road, especially. And like having lived here and studied here for a month so far, I guess, like I can already see that it's something that I'm gonna hold with me for realistically the rest of my life.